This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
Today we start with our conversations with a look at economic matters, where the central bank governor Yemi Cardoso has announced that the Apex Bank is working to end the demand-supply gap in the foreign exchange market by introducing an electronic foreign exchange matching system. Mr. Cardoso stated that the system will address the disconnect between the Naira to dollar rate and determine the Naira's true value. Joining the conversation this morning is economist Mukhtar Mohammed. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us on the conversation.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
To start with, what is your reaction to this announcement of an electronic foreign exchange matching system?
For me, it's a good one. It's long overdue because I keep saying it, in developed countries and even in developed economy, you don't look for the exchange rate by asking people on the street that, you call somebody who was the exchange rate. You go to the website, you go to the electronic and transaction site, and then you check, and you have to see the official side of the Central Bank of Nigeria. So I'm happy with that. For some time now, we've seen individual companies, trading companies determining the exchange rate of Nigeria digitally by putting it on their website, depending on how they feel the rate is supposed to be. So I think it's good. It's a good omen that finally we are beginning to do the right thing to make sure that we go digital and we make sure that these rates are competitive based on demand and supply, and it's open for everybody. And so I don't have to call one malam when I'm in the US, or I don't have to call my brother, that my brother will not ask one malam. You just, at the comfort of your room, you go into the CBN website and you see what the exchange rate is, and you do your transaction there, and it hits your account. And once you have a dumb account and once all the parameters are met, then you have, I think for me, it's one of the best policy if it sees the light of the day, because it involves a lot of technicality and it involves a lot of foresight. And also the CBN being very, very transparent. We don't want a situation that will occur. Hopefully, I'm looking forward to where we see this kind of transparency operate like the way it operates in the stock market, whereby you bid at a particular amount, you bid at a particular amount. At the end of the day, the bid and the offer determine what the price is, and then you get your exchange. I think that will be good for the economy. The conversion that we've been crying for will finally be there.
So, to address the current system of determining the foreign exchange rate, or the rate of the Naira to the dollar, what typically operates in this climb that we have seen? And I'm asking this not in terms of what happens on the black market, but how do banks go about determining what the Naira to the dollar rate is, if we wanted to change that officially?
I don't think the banks are the one that do it. I think it's the CBN that determines the rate. If you look at the autonomous foreign exchange market, the CBN tells you this is the rate, and then we go into the technicality of the bid and offer. So how it works is that CBN can put it at 1,600, and people that want to bid, if you want it on time, like I said, you won't let it operate like the stock market. If you want it, some of them can bid as high as 1,650 or 1,610 and thereabout. So the system now automatically picks the trader, because the trader also is there. The willing buyer and the willing sellers are there. So you determine the willing seller said, I want to sell on this rate. The willing buyer said, I want to buy at this rate. At the end of the day, it depends on the transaction that is agreed between the willing buyer and the willing seller. That's what determines the rate. So it's not going to be different. And sometimes the willing seller or the willing buyer sometimes are either the CBN trying to buy, or the banks also trying to buy from the CBN. So for their own client. And mostly the banks are always the willing buyer, because their clients are making demand for FX. So they go through through this autonomous exchange market to make that bid on behalf of their clients, whereby CBN will not supply it to them. But I think that also now the CBN is even telling the banks that also the bank can also trade on currency with a particular but it should not be more than $50,000. So they are trying to make liquidity available, because what has happened in the market, what you've seen in the market, why the market is what it is today, is the non-availability of liquidity. So they are trying to make sure that banks can easily trade with the FX that is on their boards for their customers, like what is saying when you use Naira to give loan to your customers or traders. So banks are now they'll be allowed to trade using the dollar in their domiciliary account. But the condition is when the owners want it, it should be given to them immediately.
Right. Well, just as we round up this conversation, do you have a sense of how much time the CBN will take to implement this electronic foreign exchange matching system?
I don't think it will take long. I'm sure they are targeting before the end of this year. Just this morning we've made to understand, and I'm sure that's all about the planning towards it. The CBN is updating their website. They are coming up with a robust news website that will also make transparency and accountability. So I'm talking all these are plans towards making it towards the launch of that electronic FX transaction platform. I definitely think that's the reason for it.
Right. Well, Mr. Mohammed, thank you very much for your time and your expertise on the conversation. Mukhtar Mohammed is an economist, and he joined us this morning to speak on the announcement by the Central Bank of Nigeria's governor, Mr. Yemi Cardoso, that the Apex Bank is working to deploy an electronic foreign exchange matching system that will address the disconnect between the current Naira to dollar exchange rate, as well as help to determine the Naira's true market value. You're still on to Radio Now 95.3 FM Lagos. The conversations continue in just a moment as we move to Bauchi State and the declaration of an indefinite strike on Friday, the 29th of November, which has seen academic activities in a university in Bauchi State come to a complete halt. Do stay with us.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.